Hi, this is Nick George with Sharpening, just to show you a video of Andis Super AGR Plus. It's a battery pack clipper or corded, but we'll go down to the table. They took this one apart, so we'll look at it at the table. Cloud's Diamond Sharpening sharpens scissors, clipper blades, and we fix all clippers that have parts available. If they don't have parts, sometimes we can still fix them if nothing is broken. Okay, so this customer took this apart. I don't know if it runs or anything. It's all in pieces, so we'll have to put it together just to see what's wrong with it. So let's get the transformer to check the power. Okay, so this is a transformer I use. It's basically a cord pack with alligator clips on it. We'll hook it up to the positive and negative. So the clipper doesn't work, so we're going to go into the brushes. We give free estimate on all clippers. Send it in and we'll take a look at it. You can set an appointment if you're local. So, okay, so it don't have brush springs, so we can already say that's not going to work. I think it had one, but I don't know where it went. It was about a half of one, so we're just going to put new ones in it. Let me get some brush springs. Alright, brush springs are important because this is where the power runs through, and it goes to the commutator that spins around the magnetic field. So you're going to want to have the brush springs in it so it can make contact with the commutator. So we're going to, oh, there's that spring right there. But it had one, so we'll go ahead and put two in it, and hopefully it at least turns on to see if we have a good armature. The armature is the most expensive part. That's why it's important to oil your blades and keep that armature not where it doesn't get hot and have a lot of resistance, because the more resistance on the blade, this is still going to move. It's going to burn these brushes. It's going to blanket the armature. It's going to get hot. You're going to have a rough running clipper. I have an AG clipper. It's probably 20 years old, still running with the same armature. I check blades all day, every day, and it just keeps running because all the blades are nice with the right 2 pounds of pressure. The blades are not rusted. They're not seized up. Alright, so we're gonna plug this in. So there it's running. So I don't know why this customer took this apart, but they couldn't get it back together. We'll try the battery. So the battery works. So that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this out, and then we're just going to service it, put it back together, and see if the hinge and latch are good. And if they are, then this is a good clipper, and we fixed it for, you know, minimal amount of money, and the customer should be really happy with it. So it's good to send your clipper in because it's called preventative maintenance, and what that is it keeps it from getting damaged in the future. So you want to always keep this clean, because once this overheats, then it's going to warp or it's going to always run hot, and you really don't want that to happen, because it'll burn brush. The reason it's getting really hot is because this is actually catching on fire and it's burning inside, or there's a thick blanket of carbon from the brushes and it's like a blanket and it's getting hot and it can't breathe. So don't suffocate your clippers. It's, you know, not good for anybody. So we check all the bearings. So this is good to do and get them maintenance, because like if this was like seized up and you keep using it, well then it can ruin this armature instead of just getting this replaced, and then your clipper's like new again. So these clippers, you know, they're 200, 180, whatever clipper you have is going to be, you know, and general repairs $20 to $60 depending on how old your blade are and how often you get them sharpened, because that all matters. Like if you have to make something cut, it's damaging your motor. Like if you have to tighten the tension of a blade to get it to cut, that's just more power this has to go through here, and the more power you push through these brushes, the hotter it's going to get, and eventually they'll catch on fire or just seize up and stop working. And then, you know, just this piece is, I think, $80, just this one little piece. This is the life of your machine. This just creates a magnetic field. This is DC, direct current, so it's like battery power. So don't plug this into electric, because electric is AC, alternating current. And the way you can tell is usually an armature will have a fan and won't have magnets. It'll have a field that is with copper wire, and that's what creates the field, the electric field, to make this spin. See, these are wrapped in circles, so it alternates and spins. But anyway, this video is not about motors, so we'll just go ahead and fix this. So it looks pretty clean. I'm going to go ahead and clean the commutator and use some electronical cleaner to clean it out. I'll be right back. Okay, the reason I don't clean this at the table because it will get stuff all over my table. So what I'm doing here is cleaning in between the commutators, because I don't want it to short out at all, or then we'll have a problem. If all these posts don't get continuity, then they'll have a dead spot, so it'll be spinning and then all of a sudden it'll stop when it hits that post. Now sometimes they'll run slow, but then when you turn them off and you turn it back on, it won't turn on because it's actually on the dead post. So then if you turn it, it'll turn back on and run slow again. But what it's doing is skipping that dead post, and that's not good either. So the bearing's good when you don't oil your blades or get them sharpened or anything. This bearing usually goes. This bearing is $25 just for the bearing, so don't do that. So, you know, keep them oiled, and then you're gonna save money. I 100% guarantee that. I've seen it over 25 years, and you can't change my mind because facts are facts. So please oil your clippers. Is for your benefit. I mean, not oil your clippers. Get them serviced, then oil your blades. Now we'll check it. So it runs perfect. Can't stop it. So that's good. I'm going to go ahead and make sure the switch works every time. So it's good to send your clipper in because I check everything and make sure nothing's messed up. So you can't notice this, but the switch is really loose. So I'm going to tighten it a little bit so they don't have to replace it in the long run. So if you hear it's a lot clickier now, that's much better. Okay, so I noticed this switch here is a little sticky, so it has a lock button here, which is supposed to lock, which it does, but it locks a little too good, so I'm going to go ahead and fix it. Yeah, so it was stuck in there. So that's probably why it's locking. Bend these little ears up, get it nice and beautiful in there, clean off the residue. Now you probably can't notice, but it's sticking up higher, the little red button. That's good because then it locks. See, without it, it doesn't move if you don't push it. And using cool lube on your blade is not oil. So what I mean by that is after you use cool lube, you're going to want to use some oil. Cool lube says it has oil in it, which it probably does, but it evaporates with the nitrogen or the oxygen, whatever is in there. And then putting oil on it afterwards helps it. If your blades are getting orange, it's because that's rust or you're baking them. Either way, oil will keep that away. Even if you're in a moist environment and you use oil, you have a good chance of, like, it's really humid in Texas, and none of my blades that are refurbished ever rust because they always have oil on them. Just like your iron skillet, you want to keep oil on it or it will rust also. This is a little lock button to hold the cord pack or the battery in. We'll test that. It's good to get your clippers serviced, especially if you're using it every day. I would say about every 6 months. And you know, it could be $20 to $40 to $60 depending on how much you oil your clippers. I know oil gets on the dog, and people or human hair say that it, you know, leaves a little oil on it, but if you don't use oil, then it's going to leave rust on your customer's hair. So I would recommend using oil because then your clippers will last long. Now, keeping your blades oiled also prolongs the life of any sharpening that is done. Because what happens is it makes a little thin amount of oil across the top here. So if this goes through dirt, which I mean is what I mean by dirt, it could be hair product, can dull a blade in seconds, and if it has oil, it has a little thin layer, and it usually beads off the side as this alternates or oscillates. And then if it has oil, it also doesn't make a groove in the metal as it goes left to right, because the blade goes like this about 3,000 times a minute, depending on what clipper you have. And see how tight that is? That's bad, because that's harder for the clipper to move left to right, and this blade's going to get really hot. If these clippers, DC powered clipper with a no fan, these should never get hot. Maybe a little bit warm, but the way you can check it is if you have the blade off and you run it, this should never get hot. Sounds a little dry. Alright, so there it is. Now here's the blade. The blade latches, that's good. The importance of getting your clippers serviced. Yes, you know how to use these clippers better than me, but I know how the clippers should run most likely better than you. I would probably guarantee that. So You know, like when this clipper won't leave lines, the blade doesn't disengage when it gets into rough hair, it's gonna run good for a long time. And, you know, every 6 months to a year you should get them serviced. So let me sharpen this blade and we'll test it and end this video. Okay, so I sharpened the blade, put 2 pounds of pressure, which is perfect. We'll give this a try. Hopefully this cuts. Little noise coming off this. Gotta put this on there. Okay. So now I test every blade with this string. I know you're not cutting string. It's interlaced string, because if it cuts this, it will for sure cut hair because it's easier to cut hair, which I'll go ahead and show with hair also. But this is my quality test. That's how I test the quality of the sharpening. Let's see some hair. 1 second. Okay, so we got a head of hair, well, a wig. And then we'll just get some hair here. And it cuts perfect. And this is a 40 blade. You're not even supposed to cut long hair, and it still does. Perfect. Thank you for this wonderful adventure. I hope you guys had fun. Please subscribe and leave in the comments anything, any questions, any video ideas, anything. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your day. See you later.